Welcome back to my daily Facebook Live. Today, I want to talk about a good checklist being your first virtual assistant. So everybody these days is talking about, including me today, virtual assistants and how that should be your first hire and how you need a virtual assistant to help you accomplish things and to do things. And it's true. That should be your first hire. That's my first hire. That's going to get you a lot further. You can take that 80% of stuff that you're not passionate about or proficient in and give it to your virtual assistant while you focus on the 20% that's going to make you the most money. However, when we're starting out, we don't always have the money to hire a virtual assistant or even the know-how. Like, who do we talk to? How do we go about doing that? So today, what I want to talk about is a free virtual assistant, and that virtual assistant is a good checklist. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is something that you're going to carry around with you everywhere, something that is systematized. So, I keep it in the notes app in my phone, and I just create little check mark boxes, and it's the same list every single day so that it keeps me systematized. I talked about last time I talked about the morning routine and keeping that going and how it systematizes your day. Well, the same with a really good checklist. So let me give you an example. When I travel for speaking, there are things that I need to take. There's things being a diabetic, medical equipment. There's, obviously certain clothes, certain hygiene products. So it's all there, right? Well, the problem is, what most people do, and what I used to do, was I would go and I would travel, and every single time I was starting from scratch. So it would take me a couple of hours to pack because I had to think about, okay, I need this. Do I have this? Have I gotten this? And then I'd have to double check and make sure it was there. And then, and then of course my brain triple checking, right? I bet a lot of you are like that. So by the way, if you're joining me live, give me a hashtag live. If you're watching this on replay, give me a hashtag replay. And if you're like that, where you have to double, triple check when you pack, give me a hashtag triple packer. No, hashtag triple checker. That's what I want. Hashtag triple checker. Give me that in the comments. Because, your brain says, wait, did you really pack that, or did you imagine yourself packing that? I have the same problem when it comes to text messages. I'll read a text message and I'll be like, oh yeah, in my mind, I formulate a response, but I don't have the time to respond right then. So, okay, I'll respond to that later. I know what I'm going to say. And then 6 or 7 days later, I look and go, oh, I didn't respond. So because of that, when it comes to packing, my brain says, no, double check, make sure you didn't imagine it. So this would just every single time, and it would just every single time take me hours, and every single time I hated it. And so what I realized was the best way to do this, the way to create a virtual assistant to help me pack, was to create a good checklist. To look at the next time I packed, I went through and I said, okay, I packed this, and I literally wrote out a checklist. And then uh and it has changed in the sense that sometimes I get to a place and I realize, oh, I really needed this, so let's add that to the checklist because that's going to be something that every single time I go I'm going to need. Or I get there and I realize, you overpacked, you really didn't need this, so I can remove it off of my checklist. But the cool thing is by having that checklist, it's like having a virtual assistant double checking and kind of doing it for me. Now my packing takes me about 30 minutes because it's just look, pack, check, look, pack, check, look, pack, check. And it's the same list repeated over and over and over. And it's right there in my notes app. So that's one way that a checklist has become a good virtual assistant. You can do the same thing in your business. If you have repeated tasks that you need to do over and over, create a checklist so you don't have to think about the order every single time, so that you don't have to think about it every single time. And although it's not really shifting work off to somebody else, what it's doing is taking that work that you don't like doing, and it's making it so you don't have to waste brain cells on it. You don't have to waste that energy, that executive function that we talked about when I talked about creating a morning routine. You don't have to waste your executive function energy on rethinking about this task that you have to do daily. And so creating that checklist is a great way to, you can create checklists for your, I do have a work day. In addition to my morning routine, I have a workday startup routine with a checklist. I have a workday shutdown routine with a checklist. I have certain tasks throughout the day that just has a checklist, so that it's literally just a no-brainer. It's just do it, check, do it, check, do it, check. And I don't have to think about it because these are tasks that require minimal brain effort. The problem is the reason why they start taking a lot of brain effort and a lot of brain energy is because we have to think about them every time. We have to think about the order. We have to think about what do I do next and what do I do next. When you've got a checklist, it removes all of that and it starts to automate it for you. So your first virtual assistant, your freebie virtual assistant is your notes app or if you want to use Asana. I love Asana, by the way. It's a great way to take a project, organize it, create checklists so that you can just go through very smoothly and know what you need to do. But a great system, a great virtual assistant that's going to eliminate spending a lot of brain power and a lot of brain cells on that 80% of the stuff that we do that is not our core proficiency, our core money-making efforts. And you guys are probably wondering what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the 80-20 principle, right? That 20% of your work gives you 80% of your revenue. And so you want to be focusing on that 20%. You want to be leveraging and next leveling that. Well, for me, that's speaking, that's being out in front of people. That's whether I'm talking on stage, whether I'm talking here on Facebook, whether I'm coaching, whatever it might be, all of that, that's my 20%. That's what makes me money. Video editing, all of those things don't necessarily make me money. But now, now I have video editors and things like that. But I created a checklist so that when I edit a video, I know exactly step 1, step 2, step 3. I don't have to think. I don't have to sit there and look at it and go, all right, what's the next thing I need to do? And then waste brain power on that, right? So that when I'm done editing the video, I'm still have higher energy. I don't come out of it feeling all depleted and not ready to move into my 20%. So for you, that's what you need to do is create a checklist. Like I said, if it's editing videos, create that checklist. What's the first thing you do? For me, drop it into Final Cut Pro, use the little magic wand to brighten it up, make it look good. Speed it up to 110%, then start cutting the blank spaces. Then, so I know exactly what I need to do if I have to edit the video myself. That's what you need to do is on tasks that are repetitive, things that you do over and over, create a checklist so you don't have to think about it. You literally look at the checklist, you do it, and it's done, and your brain didn't have to waste any energy on it. So that's my tip for you today. Get yourself a good free virtual assistant, whether it's the Notes app. Asana does cost some money if you guys want to use Asana or Todoist, or there's a lot of checklist apps out there. But honestly, you can just do it right there in your Notes app that's free on your iPhone, that comes free, and create checklists on things that you have to do repetitively so that you don't have to think about it. It'll speed up your work like it does, like I was saying with my packing or video editing, any of those things. It'll speed it up. It'll save calories, which is your brain loves to save calories because your brain still thinks barbarians are coming over the hill and we don't know when we'll get our next meal. Obviously, we know when we'll get our next meal. So we don't want to worry about saving calories or burning calories on things we don't need to. We want to burn them on the stuff that's going to make us money. So your brain likes checklists. Your brain loves it because they don't have to burn calories on thinking about what's next, about using that executive function to make decisions on what do I pack next, what do I grab next. It's just systematized. So get yourself a good checklist. That's my advice for you today. If you want to be more productive, if you want to save your brain cells for the money-making activities, right? And if you want to systematize and get quicker. The other cool thing about creating a checklist is that when you do hire your first actual virtual assistant, you will have essentially SOPs, standard operating procedures. Here's a checklist on how I like my videos edited. Here's a checklist of what I like done. I want you to make sure you get these steps done. I want to make sure you get my emails done this way. I want you to make sure, right? Because you want them to you want the flow to still seem like, even though you have a virtual assistant, you want it to feel like and seem like that you're still doing that work so that people on the other end don't recognize. The emails don't change. The frequency doesn't change. The video editing doesn't change. Things look the same. They feel the same. It's not like somebody all of a sudden else is taking control. So that's the other reason why you want to create checklists right now and create a virtual assistant by creating checklists, because when you actually hire somebody, then you can give those checklists to them and say, this is how I want it done. This is the order that I want it done. And that's how I want it taken care of. So that's my tip for you today. Start creating SOPs by creating checklists for your brain so that you can have a virtual assistant in your phone to save calories, to make more money doing something else. That was a long tail ending to get to where we wanted to be, which was for you to make more money by doing less. So remember, this is how you succeed in business while winning at home. This is how you save calories for making money, but also for being with your family so that you can stop existing and start living and actually being with them. So that's my tip for you today. Leave your comments below. I didn't look at any comments. I would love to respond to any comments that you leave. Please leave them below. Let me know if you caught this live. Give me a hashtag live. If you caught this on replay, give me a hashtag replay. And let me know what your thoughts are. What is your favorite to-do app or checklist app? What is your favorite place to get a virtual assistant, and how have you seen that change and level up your business? Let me know in the comments. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.